Hello, my name is Abby Linville, and this is my Module 10 presentation for EDL 852, helping students realize their learning norms. Students are a vital part of our school community, but they are often overlooked when it comes to working on identifying school and classroom norms. Involving them can help increase the ownership over their learning and impact their student achievement greatly. So it's definitely something that we need to consider and start to work on in schools today. So when I was thinking about how I would set up a way to support students in learning and identifying their norms, I was thinking in the context of an elementary school. So much of what I'm going to present is going to be things that would help support an elementary school age student in recognizing the norms that are present already in the school and looking at how they can help support those norms, and also implementing some of those things that students identify that they want to be a part of their education, such as getting some voice and choice, allowing them some time to explore things that are of interest to them. Those types of things are what I was thinking and keeping in mind as I set up some ways that I could help students identify those norms and make connections with them. So there are three ways that I think that I could do that in my own building. The first would be setting classroom and school norms with students' help, creating a positive school culture, and providing some professional learning to support the teachers that are implementing these ideas in their classrooms. So the first one I really want to dig into is setting school and classroom norms. I believe it starts with setting classroom norms first. Really working together to identify some norms that will really help build up that classroom community. When teachers are doing that, I think they need to be asking the students, well, what do you think would be a good classroom norm? And what would that look like in our classroom? And really working through and setting those up and setting up those expectations within their classroom first. The next step would be to review the code and conduct with the students and review the school and mission and vision statements with the students. So at the elementary level, a lot of times the mission and vision are taken and put it into an acronym that students can easily read and understand. So I put an acronym up that is used at one of our schools in my district, and they are the Panthers, and so their acronym is PRIDE. And so every day at the beginning of the day, after they say the Pledge of Allegiance, they say the Panther Pride chant. And I think it would be really important for teachers to show the students this Panther Pride and go through each step and say, okay, if we are positive, what can we do as first graders or second graders to show that we are positive in our school community, and going through and talking about how they can demonstrate these norms and recording that for them so that they understand it is more less abstract and more concrete for them, so they know exactly what that means when they're saying that every morning. And then I think they also need to discuss with their teachers, how are they going to be held accountable for meeting those school norms? And also, how is it's a two-way street. How are the teachers going to be held accountable for that too? Because they want the students to see them in a partnership towards making sure that they are learning the best ways that they can be. The next thing that I would look at is creating a positive school culture. So John Hattie once said that a positive, caring, respectful environment is a prior condition to learning. So students have to feel that they're a part of a positive school community and having that need met before they are ready to take on the academic parts of school. So those relationships we build with our students are essential to their success. So in order to do this, I would have a school-wide focus on social emotional learning. I would start with the teachers and educating them on ways that they could do that and start implementing some strategies in their classrooms. So one of those strategies would be to provide daily class meetings. So everybody would start their day with a morning meeting where they would discuss how everybody's feeling, discuss any issues that students had going on with norms or anything like that. And sometimes they're just teaching students about different social emotional skills like empathy and patience. And having an opportunity every day set aside for that, I think, is essential to getting to know your students. And it also starts to build connections amongst each other as well. I have one of the schools in my district, the principal and the vice principal every day make it a point to attend at least one morning meeting. I think this is vital to making sure that the principal is seen as a part of the school community and not like just as the person who oversees it, but a person who's actually a part of it and is working with the students as well. So I think that is an important component to creating that positive school culture and a goal that I would set for myself. And when I would attend those or not those school meetings, but those morning meetings with the students, I would be asking them about, how do you think we're meeting our school norms? What are some things that we could do to support you better? Are you feeling a part of our school community? And really getting their feedback and their thoughts on it as well. The next step would be to survey the students and teachers at least yearly, maybe biannually too, and talk to them about, are we meeting the norms that we've set? Do we need to adjust any of those norms? What can we do to make sure that we're all meeting the norms? And getting a feel for, if I think the school culture is positive, do they feel that way too? The last thing is a strategy that is used in the buildings in my district that I think is super valuable for making sure that every student has someone that they have built a connection with in our school community. So they're called minute meetings. So the school counselor and the school social worker work together, and they go and meet with each student for a minute or two and talk to them and just touch base with them. During this time, they also reach out to them and say, okay, who's your trusted adult in this building? Who's someone that you can go to if you are struggling with something? And if a student says, I don't have a trusted adult, then they have them on a list that they know that they are someone that we need to find someone to make a connection with. Kids do much better if they know that they have someone that they can trust and go to for advice. And I think the minute meetings is a great way to make sure that no one falls through the cracks and that all of our kids are supported in our school. The next is professional learning. You can't expect teachers to just know, like, hey, I have all these great ideas, let's go ahead and implement them. They need some professional learning and some background knowledge about why we're doing this and also how to implement this. So I would definitely be using the resources that we have in our school with our school counselors and school social workers to educate our teachers on what social emotional learning can look like in a classroom setting. I also know that it is really important to students that they understand the purpose of what they're learning. They want to know that what they're learning is going to be something that they can apply in real life. One of the greatest strategies you can use to take students from learning and getting the knowledge to really constructing it and applying in a real world setting is project-based learning. So I would like to provide some professional development for my teachers that revolves around project-based learning. Now, project-based learning is a huge undertaking, and teachers have to devote a lot of time to it when they're first learning it. So I would definitely start small with just doing one project per grade level, and then to continue to build on that over time. I think even if you're doing just one project a year, the teachers are still kind of seeing some of those connections about how they can take something and get students to take it and apply it in real life. So they'll take some of those skills that they learned about project-based learning and apply it in their everyday lessons too. So even though it might not be an overhaul and we're doing all PBL, that small piece will help students start to see some of those real life connections and really getting the time to pay close attention to what interests our students and what they like to do throughout the learning process. The next thing would be some PD revolving around differentiation. Differentiation's been around for a long time, and we've been talking about it for a long time, but it's one of those things that teachers naturally do, and sometimes we just need to review it and think about it a little bit so we can try some of those new approaches that are out there so that students have that voice and choice, and also that we make sure that we're playing to their interest and that we're giving them some time to dive into something. Some kids can get something done in 20 minutes and others need a full 40. So differentiation kind of allows all kids to kind of work at their own pace but still be learning that same content. The last is teacher estimates of achievement. If you look at Hattie's list of visible learning and you look at some of the things that are most impactful on student achievement and student growth, one of the highest ones is a teacher's estimates of a student achievement. So what that means is it's what the teachers expect that the students can do. When teachers have high expectations of their students usually rise to the occasion and they can meet that. But if a student knows that their teacher does not think that they can do it most of the time, they're not going to do it. They already think that their teacher thinks they can't do it, so why even try? So I think providing some professional learning around that and talking about how your views of the students can impact them, I think would be a valuable use of professional learning time. So the goals of what I have laid out would be that by the end of this, when I have implemented all of the things that I have mentioned in this 3-step process that I had, I think I would want students to feel that they were challenged, that they are engaged in a rigorous curriculum, that they have strong connections not only with their peers, but also with their teachers as well and other people and adults in our school community. I want them to think that their learning is relevant and important. And I also want them to feel like they have some choices in their learning and how they can be able, through those choices, to identify the ways that they learn best. I also want them to feel like their voice is important and that I hear their voices and that I am making adjustments and changes based off what they're saying. And I want them to have some true ownership over their learning. I feel like this assignment helped me to really see the connection between norms and school mission and vision statements, and also kind of reflect on how the students support both of those things in our school, and that some of the things that are most important to students are things that teachers would learn through building that relationship with them. And so it gave me a nice reminder of how important teacher-student relationships are and how vital they are to our school community. Here are the references that I used for this assignment. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.